Starting up is not easy, and for women entrepreneurs, the road is even tougher. But those who dare to break barriers create the path for others to follow. Today, in this episode of Shepreneur Shakti, we have Anisha Singh, one such female who is creating the way for many women to follow. She is the founding partner of She Capital and the founder of MyDala. Let's get into this exclusive conversation with Ms. Singh to know her journey, the challenges that she faced, and the impact that she is creating. Welcome, Anisha.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Shrestha.
So, Anisha, from founding MyDala to now leading She Capital, it's been quite a long journey. How has it been for you?
It has been long. But you know what? Every step has been great. I'm now a third-time founder. And it's been interesting, right? Because I was on the founder side of the startup ecosystem. And now I'm on the investor side, even though I'm still a founder investor, but I'm on the investment side. So I think I'm fortunate that I got to see both perspectives and both sides of the table.
So, you are a founder yourself, but what really inspired you to come on this side of the table? And what is the kind of impact that you vision to, really make?
When I was a startup founder pitching to hundreds of VCs, and you do this is normal life. By the way, हर startup founder पता नहीं कितनी pitches लेके हर VC के पास जाता है. When I was doing that, I always used to say मैं कुछ भी बनूंगी, VC नहीं बनूंगी. This is the worst breed of people. Now that I sit on this side, I know that's not true. The right investors alongside you actually help, in your growth journey, and they actually help you get to a certain level of scale. When I was a founder, everybody would ask me to speak about, women in the ecosystem and everything, because I was the token female in the internet ecosystem in 2011-12, right? And when I did that, I suddenly realized the world was not equal. चाहे हम जो भी कह लें, world was not equal for women. And by 2014, I had had 2 daughters. And you know what? अगर मैं कोई impact नहीं बना रही in an ecosystem that gave me so much, then I just couldn't live with myself. So instead of just talking, it just felt like it was time to do something to change it. The metrics for women. Only 2% of the funding goes to female founders. Even now, by the way. Across, and I'm talking global statistics. And I think as women, you need to do something to change the status quo for it. And I'm not talking about me only, I'm talking about you also. I think everyone, it's our moral responsibility to get us on a level ground. I did what I knew best, which was, try and move to the funding side, because there was a need that was there. There were not enough women deploying capital into women-led startups. And so I felt this was the best thing that needed to be done at that point in time.
You have given me some glimpse for my next question already, but I would still like to ask you. You yourself have been a women founder, and now you are closely working with, a lot of female founders out there. So what are the challenges that you see they are facing, and how She Capital is really bridging the gap?
Look, if you're going to be a founder, I think, and I tell this, it's not about a male or female thing. You need to get comfortable and actually love the fact that there are going to be challenges every day, and there's going to be more down days than up days, okay? But the fact that you're building something and creating something should be what you're looking forward towards. So I always tell everybody challenges hote hain. I think women have a tougher thing to balance out, right? We have a lot more going on in general. So there's definitely that needs to be looked at for women. She Capital started in 2020. We started actively deploying. Not only have we invested in amazing brands that are women-led, such as, Baker's Dozen, Elementary, Brainsight, we've Yuva Kabaddi, we've done amazing startups where if you meet the founders, you're just like, wow, you're just amazed with the trailblazers. But one of the other things we started doing was, Shrestha, I realized that agar hum sirf as a fund, we're only funding 14, 28, 30 companies, our impact is very less. And so about 3.5-4 years ago, we started something called Together. Together is a community. We bring together about 100 50 female founders to Goa over 36 hours, unicorns, unicorns, most cutting edge startups, and we bring together the top managing partners of VCs and private equity firms. And what we have done over the years is we have created a sisterhood and an ecosystem like no other. If you look at the reviews on LinkedIn, if you see the kind of impact that Together has created, we feel grateful that we were the driving force behind it, but now that Together has taken a life of its own. Founders, last year we were waitlisted by 80 founders who had wanted to come in. Unfortunately, we only take in 150 that come for the event. Over the years, we built out one of the largest communities of female founders. So every day, and this has nothing to do with She Capital, we actually send out information on grants, loans, funding for female founders on a WhatsApp group. And that WhatsApp group has about 3,500 founders. So there's a lot that we're trying to do in terms of just building up the ecosystem for female founders.
So I can clearly make out that you have broken a lot of stereotypes in your journey. What was that defining moment for you where you realized that you are really making a change?
When people say that and everything, I don't feel that, right? And I think it comes from the fact that you always want to keep doing more and more and more and more. But I've been fortunate enough that a lot of the founders reach out saying, thank you, your words of advice really helped that minute, or I'm so glad you did this. So I'm just grateful. But I think the most touching moment was at Maidala when I got a letter in Hindi from somebody who lived in a small town. This was not a female who wrote to me. It was a guy who wrote to me saying, I saw your interview on TV. And before this, and this he said in Hindi, it was a full letter in Hindi only, कि मैंने आपका interview देखा and I just want to tell you, मेरी बेटी है. And before this, I had thought कि मैं उसको पढ़ा के उसकी शादी करवा दूंगा. But seeing people like you, I feel like maybe I want my daughter to do something bigger. And I'm talking pre-Shark Tank days, pre-other. It was honestly one of the most gratifying moments of waking up and saying, oh God, the impact is so much bigger. Because when you're in the trenches, na, लगता नहीं है. You feel के पता नहीं कुछ difference बन भी रहा है कि नहीं. But to hear people say this, and I'm grateful to God that people actively reach out all the time with, some story or the other, or something or the other. Then you feel like, okay, at least I'm doing my little bit. I'm helping make a difference in whichever way I can.
One question that I really like to ask, to all the entrepreneurs, especially the women entrepreneur, is, when we pass out from school, from college, we all are, running behind the big corporate jobs. And I'm sure that you also had that moment in your life. So what was the thing that really, attracted you towards entrepreneurship and, gave up on those high-paid jobs?
I did do a very high-paid job, and the company publicly listed. So I'll give you a little background on myself. When I was growing up, my father was a founder. Okay, we had come from a large family, but he separated and he was doing his own business. And the business went through such a hard time that एक टाइम पे हम सिर्फ आलू ही खाते थे और कुछ खाते नहीं थे, क्योंकि सस्ता था वो. आलू की परांठी, आलू की सब्जी, आलू का. To date, I hate आलू because of that reason, right? When you go through that, you say, मैं चाहे कुछ भी कर लूँगी, मैं ये नहीं बनूँगी. I will get a paycheck. I want a paycheck. मुझे ये high और low नहीं देखना, मुझे पैसा चाहिए. And so when I joined that job, I was very happy मुझे paycheck आता था. But, I tell everybody, whoever says, man, never say never to anything in life, because you never know where you end up. I was very clear, this was in the US. I was very clear I wanted to come back into India and do something for my country. I wanted to make a difference here. And sure as hell, life would have it that somebody said, over there said, I'll give you a project. If you ever move back to India, I'll give you a project. And I decided that one day that I'll move back and take a project and see how it goes. And project say it became a company, and that was my first company. And after 2 years of very hard work and Gasita Maroing, it started doing really well. And, there's no looking back. I think entrepreneurship is like a drug. अगर आपको ये drug, if you taste this drug, it's very hard to go back. It's not the kind of drug where you can just give up. I've never done any other drug except entrepreneurship. And I think it's one of those that gives you such a high, such a rush that once a founder usually is always a founder.
Anisha, you successfully founded 2 startups, and now you have seen the kind of struggles that every entrepreneur faces in their initial stage. So, if we talk about funding, what kind of challenges do you see in the funding ecosystem, and how can we really overcome them?
Look, yeah, the thing is, I keep telling everybody, and this is not a funding thing. If you're going to be a founder, know that you're not running a sprint, you're running a marathon, which means you're playing the long game, which means कि आपको बड़े दरवाजे खटखटाने पड़ेंगे. Okay, it is just as simple as that. Is it harder for women? Absolutely. You know, people tell me, no, is it really genuinely harder for women? But ये चीजें ऐसे हवे में नहीं बनाई गई हैं. There are studies, there's background, there's proof that is the correct. There is an inherent bias. Actually, there is a study that showed that even in the most progressive countries, such as the Nordic countries, which are the most gender equality wise, they're the most even. When you put a filter and you had a woman pitch, they asked her different questions than they asked the guy. They actually asked the woman, how would you balance work and life? They never asked the guy that. They asked the guy, great, how would you scale it? So very different things. I think there's an inherent bias. Is it going away? Absolutely. I think the more females come into the ecosystem, you are seeing a lot of that change, right? So the more of us coming in, amazing founders building just amazing companies, I think at some point that gender bias or that questioning around can she do it is definitely going away. Is funding for founders in general a tough game? Yes, but I also tell a lot of founders, आपको funding चाहिए क्या? I mean, funding is not your end goal. Building a company is your end goal, right? So I think Shark Tank and a lot of these have made funding such a popular thing that sometimes when you don't even need funding or you don't have a legit business idea, the only thing, if your end game is only कि मुझे funding raise करनी है, anyway you're going to be in trouble. You have to have a solid business idea that in itself can inherently work without funding or is something that is going to be so novel that will attract funding. So there is that. In general, I mean, you look at even the Airbnb founder, he had to knock hundreds of doors to get funding, right? If you're going to do something novel, get used to being uncomfortable.
You have worked in US market, UAE market, and now in India. So what kind of cultural, difference do you see in terms of women entrepreneurship?
I'll tell you what commonality I see. Huh? Like, I think everybody thinks, oh, हमारी country में bias ज़्यादा है, उसकी country में नहीं है. The inherent bias is everywhere, all right? So there is that commonality. And female founders, no matter from where across the world, find that in themselves. So that I definitely think that's there. You have to understand the US ecosystem in general is about 50 years ahead. And not by anything else. They started earlier. Silicon Valley was set up much earlier. So they're a more advanced ecosystem. The Indian ecosystem is still catching up to it. So obviously the level of certain things that an advanced ecosystem has is much easier, much more formalized than an ecosystem in India. I think that's the only difference. I will say this, I feel that it's more heartening to see what women founders here are doing. You hear about it a lot more. One day I put out a post on LinkedIn that said, can you give a shout out? This was for Together to amazing female founders. You want to know the coolest thing? It wasn't women founders who wrote about themselves. It was guys championing and talking about their co-founders, their friends, their sisters, just everybody. And so it was so cool to see because I do believe that the startup ecosystem here in India is going to be the leveler. It is going to be where the game changes for women in general.
One thing about the startup ecosystem that you would like to change?
There's a lot that needs to be improved, right? So I don't think there's one thing that you can point on different days. There's lots of things that you're like, I wish we had a more formalized way of this, or I wish there was a more formal. So I'm sorry, I can't answer that with a very specific thing. I think even the regulators, by the way, are figuring their way out. Never in India have there been so many VC funds. When I started up Maidala, this is in 2009, you could count on one hand how many VC funds we all had to go to. Now I belong on a VC group. Every day there are about 7-8 new funds that get introduced to that. So imagine the pace at which even VC funding is coming into India, and the startup ecosystem is getting formalized. But regulators are also trying to keep up pace to it. So I think there's a lot of changes that need to happen there, or formalization that happen. In our regulation, there is a lot that the government is trying to do, a lot that still needs to happen. But I think there's a lot that needs to happen on our side too, right? And you're seeing it. We are evolving. Pele, there was not so much professionalization. We've heard of a lot of founders that got a lot of funding, and then the funds kind of moved away and disappeared into thin air. I think that all is now starting to settle down. You're going to see just amazing businesses being built out of here, and people taking the ecosystem more seriously.
Coming to the end of this conversation, there are a lot of females out there who want to build something but are not, getting the right opportunities, or are hesitant about a lot of things. So what will be one message from you to the aspiring entrepreneurs out there?
So anybody who comes to me and says that, I'm waiting for the right time, I've never understood that. And I can best explain this. First of all, there's no such thing as the right time, okay? And if you're waiting, somebody's going to come and take that. So I always tell, especially female founders, don't overthink it. Just take the jump. Things figure themselves out. Life in itself figures out as you take the dive and you're trying to figure it out. If you've got your, feet in, two boats, it's anyway not going to figure out. If you're overthinking, meri chachi kya kehegi, meri tai kya kehegi, I have so many obligations, anyway, it's not going to happen. But it's best explained with a story. I was sitting next to an 89-year-old. She and I are on the Cartier board, and, she was wearing black nail polish. And I told her, I said, Elaine, you're wearing black nail polish. And she looked at me so sweetly and she's like, darling, if not now, then when? And I think that's really what everybody should know. If not now, then when? It's as simple as that, no?
Alright, so this was Anisha Singh in this exclusive conversation. Stay connected with TIES to hear more about such stories.